If you're thinking of studying in Europe, but your budget isn't that high, and you also want to have some fun and also be able to work and probably settle down someday in the future, then you've come to the right video. The reality is that cheap education is out there, but you just need to know where to look. So let's dive into the best countries in Europe to study in 2025 for a reasonable price. First up is Germany. This is basically the goldmine for free education in Europe, and public universities basically doesn't charge you anything except some of the taxes, which can range from 150 euros to around 300 or 400 euros maximum per year. And many of the programs are actually in English. People assume that if you don't know German, you can't study in Germany, but that's not true. Germany also offers an 18-month search visa. That means you can look for 18 months after you graduate to find a job, and if you work there for a couple of years, you can also get the permanent residency, and eventually that would lead to the citizenship. The only catch is that Germany is quite competitive, especially if your grades are not really that perfect. But hey, the worst thing that can happen is you go to a normal school which is not in Germany. So why not just apply and see? So to apply for the scholarships at the universities and know more about Germany, you can go to DAD.de, which is the official website for Germany for looking for scholarships and universities. Now there is a small loophole you can use to increase your chances of studying in Germany, which is the two different types of universities Germany offers: the applied sciences universities and the actual universities itself. The applied sciences universities, for example, Rheinwald University of Applied Sciences, follows a more practical approach towards education. And these kinds of universities are much more easier to get into compared to the actual research-based universities, which do not include applied sciences in their name. Germany expects you to have at least 13 years of education. That means you do have 12 years of education itself, which is when you graduate high school, but you also need to have 1 year of extra education. That could be in a language, in another university, in your own country, or you have to prove it some other way. If you do something like A levels, that is considered 13 years of education, which is clearly stated in the Cambridge A levels website. So in the second place, we have Portugal. Tuition fees, specifically at public universities, are really cheap. They range from about 2,000 to 4,000 euros, which is really reasonable. And the best part is that Portugal is really welcoming, and it offers a really quick path to permanent residence. And life there is generally more relaxed. It's also full of beaches, good food, and really nice and enjoyable people. So that's always a positive. Now this is kind of a bonus country, but Austria, especially the city of Vienna, is a beautiful, student-friendly, and really affordable city to live and study in. The housing is relatively affordable compared to bigger European cities, and it is full of international students. That means you don't have to know the language. Now the only downside of Austria is that it is one of the strictest countries to apply for visa, and it has one of the longest paths for permanent residency, so it might not be the best for you. But if you want to study, have fun, be at the center of Europe, get relatively cheap education, and be able to live without knowing the language, Austria is a really good place. Now, if you want a country that is kind of flexible, or if you're someone who doesn't have really good grades in your high school, then you should apply to Belgium. Belgium believes that public universities should be available to everyone, regardless of their GPA. So they do let you in to that university, but they expect you to perform really well in the first year of university exams. So you do need to work hard once you get into university. In Belgium, cost of studies depend on whether you're European or non-European. So if you're from a European country, then studying would be relatively really cheap, ranging from 500 to 900 euros maximum. But if you're someone who is from a non-European country, then tuition fees would be a bit on the expensive side. So it would start from around 6,000 to around 10,000 euros, depending on the course and the university itself. The Free University of Brussels and KU Leuven is one of the more popular choices for studying for international non-European students, and the tuition fees also ranges from around 7,000 to 10,000 euros between these two universities, so you can always check that out. Now you might be surprised when I say this, but there's a small island country in Europe called Malta, which is a really popular tourist destination, but it is also a really affordable and student-friendly country. The weather is amazing. 80% of the population speaks English. It's part of the European Union, so you get all of the benefits that come with the EU, which is you can travel to any Schengen country without requiring a visa, and the cost is relatively cheap, at least if you're European. If you're from a European country, then studying in Malta will cost you somewhere around 1500 euros. But if you're from a non-European country, then studying at the University of Malta would cost you somewhere around 7000 euros to 10,000 euros a year. Now, the only reason I put Malta on the list is although it's not that affordable, but compared to other countries which offer the same price for studying, Malta offers some more benefits to studying at the same price cost. Finally, here's a quick warning on some places that you should avoid, even though they are really cheap and they sound really good. Russia is often considered one of the cheapest countries to study in Europe, but be careful because universities and degrees in Russia are often not recognized in Western Europe, and also a lot of the people don't speak really good English in Russia, and staying in Russia after your studies is also quite difficult. If you're stuck somewhere and you want help with applications, you don't know where to study, you don't know what to study, you're confused about applying to scholarships, you're scared you might get something wrong, then don't worry. This is why I started guidemystudy.org. The name speaks for itself. Me and my team would help you from A to Z. That means your university application, your scholarships, applying for visas, even flight booking, and even finding you housing and part-time job along with your studies. All of this at a really reasonable price. If you want a free consultation about where and what to study, then apply now. Link is in the description.